3 days ago on Colts, I was just looking for a new 3D model to just print. And I was looking and it took forever, and since there's not that many good ones and I finally found it, this one, it actually looks amazing, right? It's Hip Hop Hoodie. And yeah, here it is. And I was like, okay buddy, you need a base. It's by this guy. Yeah, so I start planning this 50-hour project out. I decided that 26mm is going to equal 1 meter, and our guy's going to be 2 meters tall. Yeah, this plan took forever, so please like and subscribe. I decided that a bin is going to be a medicine bottle, and the base is going to be made of wood that I can then carve at. But first, I have to chop these. So I'm currently marking out where I'm going to chop, and then chop. So here I'm hoping to just chop it nice and cleanly, and yeah, then I move on, and then I put it where it's going to be on the board, and then I start sanding montage. Here I find out the block's uneven in square, so it's not quite squared, so I've got to do something about that, so I try and sand all the edges. Here I am chopping it so that I can get the squaring, because this is meant to look like tiles, and apparently the tiles are 2D, so I had to carve them in to make them 3D, and this is the reason why I chose such a thick wood base instead of a quite thin plywood, which I could have done, but it wouldn't have had such a good after effect. I also couldn't use the rock technique, which I think I'm going to use soon. Yeah, so I just, here I just keep sanding it, and I start sanding this. Now this sanding process is going to take absolutely forever, because it's such a small thing, and plastics don't sand very well. Here I'm using a dart to get authentic things, because this is meant to look like metal, that bin, okay. Now I'm going to use the rock technique, where you get wood and you hit it with a rock. Now this gets the texture of the rock and puts it onto the wood, sort of like a press, like a printing press. I changed rocks because the first one broke, because I was hitting it too hard. I then got the last rock, which gives it the perfect texture. Okay, so this is actually my voice right now. I'm going to be spraying these with black as a primer, but just a quick thing, right, this is really light and the can would blur around, like, the air, so you put a little bit of blue tack, and then it sticks, it doesn't get in the way of your paint job. And then you do that on the 4 sides of this, because even this, it's quite heavy, but it still might blur around. Yeah, by the way, I used the rock texturing so that I can get this, like, authentic, rocky, stony type texture. Yeah, I'll cut back for spraying. Okay, so I'm going to be dry brushing over the rock, and that makes it so you can really see the texture on there. I'm going to be dry brushing, and that should bring out the rockiness. Yeah, I'll give that a little bit of time to dry. And here I'm reversing it so it looks like the spray can is taking away the paint. Okay, it's dry now. Let's go. inside. Here I'm sanding it so that I can do a second coat afterwards and it won't harm the first one. But I make sure to get my head in nearly every shot just to annoy people. Okay, I've got a bin, now I've got to put some stuff in the bin, so let's cut this. Here I'm bending the wire so it doesn't look like store-bought mesh, because if it did then people wouldn't be binning it. I add some bits of paper to add more contrast to the bin. Giving it a more muddied coat to make it look more realistic. I decided this little gold guy needs a name, so I'm going to call him Jared. Body comment, welcome to the world, Jared. Jared spelt Gedyda. Yeah, I can't decide on my colour scheme, so originally I was just going to do it pure black, and I tried that, but it just looked really boring, so then I added a little bit of blue, and then a little bit of gold. Yeah, a little bit of blue on one side, and then blue on the base, and then some gold on Jared. Perfect, but then I decided that was just too much, so I just did it fully blue. And I remembered that the boxes need some priming, they printed with Jared, so I just painted black. Yeah, so I decided to change the colour scheme, so that's now pure black and that's pure blue. I think that'll add more contrast, and I didn't really like the gold. Yeah. Here I spend the next, 3 hours dry brushing this, which I know gives a good effect, but it's definitely a waste of time. Yeah, so I dry brush and then wipe it off, and then dry brush and wipe it off, and dry brush and wipe. This took more time than I'd like to say. That is sped up times 50. And I wasted way too much acrylic paint. Decided that the bin needed more grey. Here I decided to do a very simple dry brush because it brought out the pattern on the blocks and it made it look way better. Yeah. Then I'm trying to find how to arrange them. Now look at this guy. I didn't quite like the shade of blue, so I got some ultramarine and some white, and I mixed it together to make this colour that's a lot nicer, I think. And I repainted the hoodie. thought it looked too clean, so I gave it a few washes, a very, very, very dark wash, and made it look more grimy, and it will also emphasise the cracks and crevices. That'll make it look better. I also went around the bin, because the area around the bin would be all greasy and grimy, because streets are greasy and grimy. Off camera, I decided the positioning and Gorilla Glued everything on. This will keep it nice and strong for later. I also painted his trousers black and took off the masking tape that was covering his nice little gold face. Here I'm showing that it's way, way, way too clean with my amazing actions, so I found a few newspapers online. I then scaled them down and put them on some A4 paper and printed it. I then cut them out for longer than I'd like to say. Here's where I messed up the scaling. So these newspapers, compared to our character who's 2 meters, the biggest newspaper would be like 3 meters tall. Fixed this problem by chopping a few of them up and only using the smaller ones and then covering them in PVA glue, so you'll never know the difference unless I told you. Here I'm absolutely covering them in PVA glue so that they can stay on, and they also, it'll make them look more used and wet and grimy. So I'm just covering it on these ones. Yeah. PVA glue dries clear, so I wasn't particularly caring about any overlay. It would just make it look more greasy and grimy and wet. This bit of newspaper here also overhang, which gave a nice 3D element to it that I didn't actually expect. This is day 3, and now that the glue's dry, I can bring back our guy who can be sat on here, and he is going to get a nice little coat of Gorilla Glue on his toes. Yeah, so just a thin coat because I accidentally bought expanding, and that's really difficult for this because it expands everywhere. So I've just put a little bit on, and I decided to put a £2 coin on top because £2 coins are small weights that fit nicely. My light also fell down, that was a little bit annoying. Yeah, so there's the £2 coin. It fell a few times because he's got a nice rounded head. Yeah. On to the glamour shots. Okay, that was the last 50 something hours of my life on this. Remember to like and subscribe. Again, I have it printing up here. Yeah, printing up here, which is this and this. Painted this. Here's the original plan. I'm not sure you can see it in this light. I kind of got everything correct. I slightly changed the positioning of this guy, and I added some newspaper. But other than that, completely accurate to the plan. Well, see you next time. Sorry, stop. Don't leave yet. This video was inspired by North of the Border. Remember to go like and subscribe to his channel. He's amazing. I got the idea for the hoodie person off of his Teletubbies video. It's an amazing video. You should go watch it. Go watch all of his content. It's amazing. I've watched it for a while. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. If this gets enough views and likes, then I might do it again.